Locked in my decision to have a collision with my purpose. It is my assignment to be in alignment with my purpose. I'm locked in, going all out, no fear, no doubt. My God, my choice, your will, I'm all yours. Locked in, going all out, no fear, no doubt. My God, my choice, your will, your will, your will. Locked in my decision to have a collision with my purpose. It is my assignment to be in alignment with my purpose. Have a collision with purpose, 'cause you know that you're worth it, and your dream is worth capturing. If I'm not living on purpose, then none of it is worth it. My assignment is uplifting souls for the King, souls for the King, souls for the King.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to In the Spotlight. This is the home of unfiltered conversations where real talk is what we do. I am none other than Dr. Donna Thompson.
I am Dr. Laxley Stephenson, and together we are your moderators.
All
What's
right.
cooking, Donna? What's cooking? What's cooking?
Oh man, what's cooking? A lot's cooking. We are down to the wire of
Yes,
everything that's happening, and it's boiling.
yes, we're down to the wire. But let's talk about that song, A Collision with Purpose, done by Ty Swayze. What a powerful song that is.
Mhm.
You know?
It absolutely is.
Yeah. It's my decision to have a collision with my purpose. Right? And that's what the song is saying. And this is all about a collision with purpose. We have Shella Topstar producing the track, and another amazing, powerful, musician, artist, producer. And of course, we have Axiom Records, the record label that the song is on. So big up, big up, big up to Shella and Ty Swayze for giving us that gift. And what a gift that is, right? Song titled A Collision with Purpose, just like the name of our company, A Collision with Purpose. Big stuff, big stuff. So what's going on with you?
It's another Thursday. A wonderful Thursday. I must say it's kind of raining, but it's good because it kind of keep you indoor. But other than that, it's almost close to the weekend. We're getting ready for the weekend. Tomorrow is the big what they say, Valentine's Day, I think. I think it's tomorrow or something like that. So, a lot of stuff going on. Big
Well,
things for the weekend coming up.
Valentine's Day is tomorrow, and we want to welcome all those who are watching us tonight and wherever they're watching from. I know that at least one person is watching all the way from Kitale, Kenya. Elizabeth Sitawa Kisiangani, our good friend. Welcome, Elizabeth. Thanks for joining us. By the way, why are you up? It's about, what time is it over there?
I was about to say, why are you up?
Goodness, you need to go get some sleep, because I know you're 8 hours ahead of us.
It's like what, 3 in the morning or
Yeah, why are you awake? Anyway, thanks for joining us. We appreciate you joining us tonight. And everyone out there, we ask that you share the stream. We do this not for us. We do it for those who are out there watching and listening to us. And we have a big show tonight. We have a guest all the way from Jamaica. Jamaica. Where we born and grow. The Outer Fall. We love it so. Yes, Jamaica. Yes, in the house tonight. So, Donna, you started to talk about our colloquium. And we're right there.
Yes.
One more Saturday, and it's going down.
Going down at Shiloh High School.
Yes, it's going down. It's going down in a big, big way, right? And I want to report that, because the most important thing for me is giving out these scholarships. And we're giving out 9 scholarships to 9 students. And not just in Atlanta alone. Students in Jamaica, students in Kenya, and students in Atlanta will be the recipient of these scholarships. Isn't that awesome?
Wow, that's amazing. That is amazing. Well, it just goes to show you that, the power of coming together as people, coming together and for, the common good, right? How impactful that can be.
I like to call it the power of purpose. When your life is defined by purpose, all kinds of great things can happen. When you're walking in your purpose, all kinds of great things can happen. And when your life is about purpose, all kinds of great things can happen. So just so happy. And of course, that the money that we're funding these scholarships with, they did not come from us. They're from people who, have it in their hearts, right? To make a donation and to say, we want to support young dreamers, young new leaders, right? Future leaders. And that's exactly what is happening. So what else is going on at the colloquium, Donna?
Well, of course, we know the colloquium is next Saturday, February 22nd. We're right there. This time next week, we will be in the middle of the event, the hot seat that will be taking place at Shiloh High School in that theater. Of course, we're going to have a singer. We're going to have saxophone player. We're going to have a guitar. I mean, we're going to have a whole slew of entertainment. And of course, we'll be honoring our, community members who've been doing just phenomenal work in their, prospective communities. And these are individuals who we're honoring from Jamaica, from California, from across the pond, like you call it, but in Africa. And of course, here in Atlanta, Georgia. So just, the whole gamut of where we're honoring individuals from. And that's a special evening, of course, to be able to do that, to where we can see that we are global, right? We are a global company. So we'll be doing that, of course, and just an evening of networking, fun, and inspiring each other to just move to the next level in our lives. So great evening. I encourage everyone. Tickets are really selling really fast right now. And I guess it's kind of like, everyone's waiting for the last minute to get their tickets. But I'm going to tell you, there's a limited amount of seats in that theater. So if you have any intention of being at the event, you want to go ahead and get your ticket now. Don't wait until the last minute, because once they're sold out, that's it. There's no flow over seating or anything of that nature. So you want to go ahead and get your tickets now. And they're only $60, $60 to come in, and you get entertainment. We're going to have vendors there as well. That's going to have various different products to offer us. And you're going to get a copy of a powerful, powerful, powerful Daily Insights Unveiled. Every time I talk about this book, I get like goose pimples. Oh my gosh. This is like a one-time offer where you get to be there, you get to experience the launching of the book, you get to be in that whole environment, the momentum, everything that is happening that evening. You get to be a part of this body of work. And of course, you'll get your copy autographed. But you know, you can order your book online. You can order your book online, and that's fine. But I'm telling you, there is a difference with being at the event, having your book in your hand, getting it autographed, going through those pages. It speaks to you differently. So I encourage everyone, go ahead. Dr. Stevens is putting in the links in the chat. Go ahead, jump on there and just grab your tickets now.
Yes, the links are in the chat, the links for the book and for the event. Go ahead and purchase, get them now. This is not just an amazing read, it is life-changing. It is life-changing. And as you always like to put it, Donna, you can turn to any page in here and there's going to be something in there for you. Here I just turn and it says, embracing the new beginnings. It said, every end marks a new beginning. The end of a relationship or a phase of life does not spell the end of your story. It is a chance to turn the page and start a new chapter on your terms. And it is an opportunity to redefine yourself so that you can find happiness and fulfillment in ways you might not have imagined when you were afraid of change. Just a little piece. And I just turned, and that's where I landed.
And that's talking to me today. And I didn't even turn the page.
I just turned the page, right? So we have Denise Johnson said, purpose. And yes, it's purpose indeed. That's what we're all about here at the Collision with Purpose movement. And it is a movement indeed. So Donna, let us take a quick break and bring on guest for the evening.
All right.
So, I'm going to play this.
I'm a boy kid, I'm a boy kid. I'm a boy kid, I'm a boy kid. I wake up in the morning and I praise the Lord. I thank Him for His protection and I walk in His steps, declaring that today's provision is set up for me. I love God and I love my friends. Yeah, I'm a bold kid. I'm a bold kid. I'm a bold kid. I put on my armor and I write His word, blessing come out of my mouth. Cause I know to whom I belong, I am bold for Christ. Holy Spirit dwelling within me, carrying His presence wherever He sends me. I'm a bold kid, I'm a bold kid. I'm a bold kid, I'm a bold kid. Loving others as He told me to pray for healing, miracles to see, knowing my identity in Christ, He is in me. I am a bold kid, He loves me, standing firm on His word, proclaiming everything I heard, not afraid because He is with me. Be bold. I'm a bold kid, I'm a bold kid, I'm a bold kid, I'm a bold kid. I put on my armor and I let His word blessing come out of my mouth. Because I know to whom I belong, I am bold for Christ. Holy Spirit dwelling within me, carrying His presence wherever He sends me. I'm a bold kid, I'm a bold kid. I'm a bold kid, I'm a bold kid.
All right, welcome back to the show. In the spotlight where nothing is left on the table and there's no conversation that we cannot have. Raw and filtered, just as it comes. So what about bold kids? They will be present at the colloquium. And that's another big deal right there. The bold kids. And I know you're a bold kid, Donna. I know you're a bold kid. So why don't you do us the honor and bring on our guests for the evening?
All right. So let's just, go over a little bit of background on our guest that we have. So tonight on In the Spotlight, right, we are honored to welcome a woman whose life is a powerful testament to resilience, faith, and purpose. And it's none other than Miss Suzetth Steele. Right. So for over 26 years, Suzetth she's dedicated her life to shaping young minds, serving as an educator, a mentor, and leader in her community. But her journey was far from easy. Born in Falmouth, Trelawney, which is located in Jamaica, she grew up in humble beginnings, facing unimaginable challenges, from battling sickle cell disease to enduring the devastating loss of her mother and later her two sisters. Yet, through faith and determination, she rose above her circumstances. Her passion for education and service led her to Sam Sharp Teachers College and later to Northern Caribbean University. This is where she excelled despite financial struggles. As a teacher at Duncan's All-Age School, she not only shaped the lives of countless students, but also spearheaded literacy programs and cultural initiatives, earning her national recognition. Beyond the classroom, Suzetth is a businesswoman, an author, and community advocate. Founding A1 Bookstore and Stationery Supplies, A1 Learning Center, and Smart Start Basic School. Her Dare to Care outreach program launched during the COVID-19 pandemic, providing food and resources to struggling families, showcasing her deep commitment to giving back. Despite facing her personal tragedies and life's hardships, Suzetth Steele remains a beacon of strength, hope, and unwavering faith. Tonight, she shares her inspiring journey, her passion for education, and the legacy she is building for future generations. So get ready to be moved by her incredible story.
Hey, she's a one-woman army, huh?
I'm telling you.
Wow. Bring her on, Donna. Bring her on.
Here she comes. Hello, and welcome.
Welcome. Thank you so very much. Good evening, Dr. Stephenson and Dr. Donna Thompson. How are you all?
Hey, good evening, and welcome to In the Spotlight. We're doing great. I'm doing great. Let Donna speak for herself.
And I just want to say thank you for this opportunity to share my story. And I also want to say good evening to all the viewers. Looking forward to a very interesting night.
Awesome.
Wow. You know, Donna did such an amazing job laying out your story for us. But Suzetth,
yes,
you know, your story is one of resilience, faith, and purpose. From through your lenses and your own voice, how would you describe yourself?
That's a profound question. Who am I? So my name is Suzetth Steele, and I'm from Falmouth, Trelawney in Jamaica. I am a child of God, firstly. I love God with all my heart. I am a mother of two wonderful, wonderful children, my daughter and my son, Shalise and Andres. I have been an educator for 26 years. That's since 1999. I'm an author, right? And an entrepreneur, mentor, and I believe strongly in being respectful to everyone. So no matter how they look, where they're from, I believe that we ought to respect. As I said, today for me, tomorrow for you. So I believe in respect. I believe in giving back. All right? I believe in giving back, helping. One hand, wash the other. I am an extrovert, very energetic person. I'm always on the go, always looking to do things, full of energy. I love people. I have a very warm personality. So no matter who you are, I will stand and I will listen to you. I am also very supportive, and I'm a good listener. I can be very talkative at times, but that's my calling to be an educator. I am hardworking and very innovative. I things, are always flashing in my head, getting, moving on to doing new things. I am dedicated to whatever task is given to me, and I'm performance driven and self motivated. Finally, I believe in reaching for your dreams no matter what the circumstance. And
Wow.
of course, as we go along in the program, you learn more about me. That's just a little insight of who I am.
Mm. Wow, we're looking forward to that. I know Donna have
Thank
some
you.
tough questions for you, right?
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so just from the introduction, right? We see that
Yes.
your early beginnings started in Falmouth, Trelawney, where you were raised in a small home, but with a strong foundation of love, right?
Yes. Yes.
What are some of your fondest childhood memories from that time that you could share with us?
All right. I was always a happy child, very happy. There's always things happening around us. My mom, she was a young mother, and I have three sisters, so we were 2 years apart. So my first sister, the eldest, and then I was 2 years after. Then my smallest was 2 years. So we were 2 years apart. So we bonded, and we lived. Our home was, a board structure. I remember that. But we were always laughing. We didn't have television or those amenities, but we always find creative ways of entertaining ourselves. I remember when growing up, we'd have this little bicycle. I think my father, got it together, made it. And I remember a number of us would ride on that bicycle. So you have one on the handbar there,
Mhm.
one to the back, one sitting, one on the bar. And sometimes we're coming down off the hill, and that, sometimes I know it can be dangerous, but that was our fun. We normally play dandy shandy. And then I remember too having my friends, and my friends from childhood are still my friends to this day. We had Angie, Dan, Sam, and they were the children of my mother's best friend. So we grew as one. We grew as sisters. Even to this day, they would say we resemble. My daughter resembles her daughter. So sometimes she would say, "No, man, something went wrong." We are, but we were always playing together, and we have the pushing the barrel. So you had the barrel, and one person or two persons would go in, and somebody would be pushing them on the road. That was our entertainment. And of course, we would have our best day though was Sunday when Shorty would come with the ice cream because he had a bicycle with the ice cream on. And Shorty would come, and of course, if you didn't do your chores and you didn't do well at school, then you wouldn't be getting any ice cream. So that was a luxury for us on Sundays when Shorty comes. And I remember, because even it was some time ago that Angie was reminding me that it has been a long time that I've been organizing things, because I remember we usually say, okay, let us form a dance group, and then what we do is dance for our parents, because then my mother was raising chickens and had eggs and so on. So we'd dance for them, and then they would pay us with some eggs. So we were always doing some creative things to get by. Then and there, I didn't think of myself being poor. My father, he was a construction worker, and my mother at that time, she stayed home. I didn't find myself to be poor at that time. It was until we were growing and realizing that sometimes the shoe that we were wearing, the toe was begging bread. And, the other children, they were eating things that we didn't know about. So, we would be looking at what they're eating, but we wouldn't beg because we learned that we must satisfy with what we get,
Mm.
right? So from early, those things were thrown at us. Don't beg, satisfy, learn to satisfy, don't grudge, and to share, right? So then that was the time now we are realizing that, there was some amount of poverty, but we didn't mind. Sometimes we get porridge in the morning, we had porridge in the evening again. But for us, it was food and we were happy. So I was always, always a happy child, despite everything.
Oh, wow. Thank you for that. Now you see where you picked up your construction skills.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Let's acknowledge some of the folks who watching. We have Paulette Ricketts at the Leaving, Miss Tiff. Yes, yes, yes. Miss Marsha McIntosh Martin. Good night. Good night to you. Good night to you. Miss Stiff again said, no matter the circumstances, you are going to show up, right? And we have Lisa, our good friend, on. Welcome, Lisa. Thanks for joining us. And again, Miss Stiff said, content. Now, education is such a big piece of your life. Huge,
Yes.
huge.
Yes.
And that came from somewhere. It came from someone in your life. Your mother had a strong belief in education as a way to overcome much of the hardship that you just described, right? How did her influence shape your attitude towards learning from such an early age?
All right. My mother has always been my cheerleader, biggest cheerleader. And she believed in me so much. She had me on a very high pedestal. And she always, most times we're together, she always say, I don't want you to be me. I want you to be more. And whether we had something to eat, or whether it is your shoe was begging bread, whatever the situation, we had to be in school. And my mother believed strongly that education can take us out of any situation. And so we were always there. I don't know. I remember distinctly that my mother wanted to attend the West Indies College. And that was her dream, because she wanted to be a chef. And she always speaks about that. Well, my eldest sister, I remember, something happened and she had to forfeit that to take care of us. So, she didn't get a chance to go to West Indies College. Now, West Indies College is now Northern Caribbean University. And so at times I would say, Mom, I will make you proud. And she said, you're always making me proud. And so I always feel confident in myself, no matter how. We were always clean. We were always clean. Even when the uniform was not new, we were always clean, well kept. But, she always put education at the forefront of everything. And so that was always at the forefront of my mind. And it's so very important that even at a very tender age, parents, put their children on pedestal, believe in their abilities, and tell them how much they believe in them, because we never can tell what will happen in the future. And so we will have to now live from those words that you have heard before. So no one could steal my joy. No one could tell me otherwise. No one could say you're not going to make it, because from an early age, my mother gave me that foundation. My mother, built me so high. I don't know if it was possible for me to fall, because I was very high. Yes. She believed in me even when I was saying, what did I do for you to be proud, But even from a tender age, she stamped me with those positive words. And I believe that there's magic in motivation. I believe that there's so much magic in just saying the positive things to your children, because we don't know what will happen tomorrow. We never can tell what will happen tomorrow.
What is your mother's name? What's
Her name is Ellerine Malcolm.
Ellerine Malcolm.
Yes.
Ellerine Malcolm, wherever you are, thank you so much. The gift that you gave us. Yes. And this, that's awesome. We really congratulate you for that. But you brought some people with you tonight. You're like a celebrity. We have people saying, so proud of you, Suzetth, my first mentor. I learned so much from you as a young teacher. Hey, you brought some folks with you. My is so proud of you. My goodness. And Blissett Beckford, good night. Yes, Christopher Price. Yes, Suzetth. Donna, she brought people with her.
Yeah, she has a whole fan base.
She didn't come alone. She did not come alone.
That is great. Awesome.
Thank you.
But such a profound background there with the influence of your mom, Suzette. That's so
Yes,
important, right? Or parents have to be our number one cheerleaders
yes.
with our children. I want to ask you, I see where at some point you moved to Mandeville with your mother. And at that point, your family faced significant challenges, including some financial struggles. And then you were diagnosed with sickle cell disease.
Mhm.
How did that push through? How did you push through those obstacles to actually excel in school?
Well, what happened was my mother, she, as I said before, she wanted to attend West Indies College. And so we moved to, there were little ups and downs going on. And so she moved with me. My two sisters stay with my dad. And she moved with me to Mandeville. Now, Mandeville was very cold, extremely cold. And I realized that often I was becoming very sick. And when we went to the doctor, that's what they said, that I have the sickle cell disease. And so often I was out of school because of the joint pains I was having, especially when it's cold. And, we couldn't afford the thick jackets and all of those, wares that we had to get and all of that. But eventually, my mother, we moved back. But before moving back, I attended Mayday College at the time, and I participated in a number. I went there, and trust me, I was just all over. Spelling bee competition, poetry competition. I was the monitor of my class because my mother at that time, she got a job as a domestic helper. And whenever after school, doing all that I was doing, I went where she was working, and I would assist her. It was a lot of work. She had to wash, iron, cook, clean, everything. And I would be there with her, helping her. And, we both went home in the evenings. And I know that she always said, take up your book. Despite all of what was happening, being ill and everything, she had to work because that's the only way we could sustain. She could sustain the family. So education was paramount. Education was paramount. After the illness persisted, I had to move back to Trelawney um, to live. To live. So it was hard, because of the illness and also visiting the doctor on a regular basis. Um, we didn't have the money to do that. But after coming back to Trelawney, it was not that bad. Um, it was not that bad. But per the doctors were normally I have to do a check and recheck because they were saying I don't look like I have sickle cell. So every time I go to the doctor, they said you need to do another blood test. You need to do another blood test. So God has kept me. I mean, even being young, I knew that God was there. And another thing, I had to go to church. That was one of the most important things. I had to go to church. My mother did not go to church, but we had to go to church. And so I knew that God was always there because they were saying, no, you look too fat. You look, healthy. You don't have sickle cell. And sicklers, they're normally very droopy and all of that.
Mhm.
But we have to fight the battle, and that was not on my mind. Being sick was not my my goal, right? So I had to, and sometimes we have to tell ourselves, when they said one thing, we just have to tell ourselves, say no, that's not it, you know and that was how we fought that. But my mother was always my source of strength. And also I remember when I was in Mandeville with my mother, she bought me a dress, a red and white dress. And let me tell you, all my sisters wore that dress and they couldn't hurt the dress. I'm telling you, even I held on to that dress. It was so precious because I knew that my mother really didn't have the money when she bought it. But I saw it and I loved it. And she said she's going to buy it for me because, you know, I'm always helping her. And she said, I'm going to buy this dress. And I held on to it so, I mean, one dress, you wouldn't even imagine. Because if I see that I give you the dress and you allow anything to happen to the dress, trust me, I'm going to take back my dress, even though it can't fit me. Right? So it was very precious.
Mhm.
My mom, trust me, she always say wherever she is, the aunts would come and tell her what I become, what I become. So I know that, you know, she was
Wow.
always my tower of strength. She was always there for me, always.
Your mother just is that shining star in your life,
Yes,
just
she
always
is.
there.
She was.
And what about that family dress?
Um,
That
you
one dress
know,
that served all the sisters.
my father house was burnt down, and that dress went with it. So
Oh,
that's what, yes.
Oh,
Yes, but he's back on his feet. He's okay now. But that dress went with the
with
house.
the, with
Yes,
the house.
because my father have other children, and you know, after my mommy, and so they got a chance to wear that dress as well. So that's why they had that dress where they were. But
oh,
it
wow.
was very precious to me, very very precious.
And you were willing to share it.
Yes, yes, I was. But they had to take care of it. They had to take care of it.
How long did the dress stay in the family for? In good condition.
Um, I, what would I say? The second sister, because I don't have any brother. So the second sister for my father on the, you know, with my stepmom. So the second sister, they reached the second sister, and he had about two other sisters. So I guess he would move to them. But they know how passionate I was about the dress.
Mhm.
Yes,
Right.
Wow.
yes.
I think we're going to take a break right now. And when we come back, we're going to talk about tragedy and fate. That's what we're going to talk about. So let's take a quick break and we will look into shadows.
Caught in the web of what they said, lost in the expectations, living in hesitation. I walked in other shadows. Deep inside, a fire burned, a whisper turned to a roar. I am liberated from walking in other shadows. I walk in my authentic self, breaking chains within. From the shadows to the light, a new life begins, shining so bright. Society tries to mold you into someone you couldn't be, fighting through the darkness to find the real me. No longer bound by others' rules, let your spirit soar. With every step you take, you are stronger than before. I am liberated from walking in other shadows. I walk in my authentic self, breaking chains within. From the shadows to the light, a new life begins, shining so bright. Breaking away from the shadows within, I rise up and shine from deep within. Beacon of light, I'll always be, living in truth, walking in victory. I am free, yes I am free. From the shadows to the light, I am free, walking in my truth, forever free, living in victory, shining brightly. I am liberated from walking in other shadows. I walk in my authentic self, breaking chains within. Breaking chains within. From the shadows to the light, I walk in my authentic self.
Welcome back to Bridging. Oh, it's not Bridging Generations. It's in the spotlight. We have too many shows. We have too many shows. Well, you can join us for Bridging Generations on Mondays, right? But welcome back to In the Spotlight. Our guest is Suzetth Steele, a woman who is definitely walking in her authentic self. She's certainly not in anyone's shadow. Educator, that's a boss lady, right? That's a boss lady. Donna, let's talk about tragedy and fate. You take it.
Yeah. So, wow. So we see at a young age, right? 12 years old, you and your mom got baptized. Which of course, that was a great step that that you both did. But shortly after that, unfortunately, she was tragically taken away from you. Can you share with us, take us back in that time? How did you cope with such an unimaginable loss at such a young age?
Right. You see, in life, you will always have setbacks, things happening, but that should never define you. And I remember I was at church. As I said, I'm always at church. My mommy always sent me to church. And I remember at AY, I was asked to do the poem, Children Live What They Learn. And so I asked my mommy to come to church with me. And she said she didn't have any dress. My mommy loves pants. I love pants too. I'm always in pants. And she said, the money I have is to buy a few dresses for you because your dress is short. Dresses are short. So I said, I'm fine. I'll wear shorts under. I just want you to be there. So she did it. She bought a dress and she came. And when she came, the church members, they were very happy to see her because, I'm always in church. And when she came, they kidnapped her. They took her for lunch, they took her back to AY. They invited her the next Sabbath and the next Sabbath until we decided to give our lives to God. That was in 1992. I remember April 1992. And she was very involved in the church. She was usually at the prayer meetings and all of that. And because my mommy was an entrepreneur as well. She was involved in so many kind of different things, hustling always. We had this connection. I remember once my mommy was pushing a cart. I remember I was small. And she was pushing a cart, I think with some stones that she had to do something. And I was there with her. And she started to cry. I didn't know why, but I started to cry too. I don't know why she was crying. I guess thinking, things were not as it, should be. And I was also crying. We had that bond, we had that connection. And so when she decided to give her life to God, I was also there with her. And so April 1992, that was it. I remember the morning I left for school. My eldest sister, she was crying to go with my mom. At that time, my mom was raising chickens. She had the white chicken, and then she had the layers that eggs. My mommy also usually in those days we didn't have much of like gas stove. So then it was like coal. It wasn't wood fire we had. It was like coal we used. And so she normally, get the wood, and sometimes she has 1 or 2 men helping her to pack the coal scale. And, when she burned the coal, then she would sell it. So, she was involved in so many different things. She was I think, in Falmouth, and she was at one of those coal scale, we call it coal scale bed. And when I heard that some man was passing and shot her 6 times. When I heard, I knew my life was totally over. I was shattered to pieces. I felt that, this was it. I was going to die because I don't see my life without my mother. And I remember hitting myself on the like running and just hitting myself on the wall that I want to die. I want to die. I remember running down to the hospital, because there's a hospital close to where we were. My sister ran first, and then I followed after her, because I was saying, no, there's still life in her. She's not dead. She's not dead. And a voice said to me, she's ready. And I stopped hitting myself, but I was still crying. And then it dawned on me that my mommy just gave her life to God. And that was my comfort. I don't know if I was hearing the voice, but I used that as my comfort to say, she's gone to heaven. Because, we would have learned that at church, that, if you're righteous, doing the right things, and, give your life to God, then you go to heaven. And so my mom was in heaven. And that's what I was always saying, that she's in heaven. And so, yes, I cried profusely. I was left like a chicken without head. I didn't know where to turn, who to turn to. And my aunt, that's my mother's sister, she lives, Auntie Bev, she lives in Montego Bay. She decided to take me to Montego Bay with her. And so I had now to relocate, leaving my friends and sisters behind. And, but it has never been the same since then. I've always spoken about my mother. My daughter and my son, they know my mother. They know their grandmother, even though, because I'm always talking about the pivotal role that she played in my life. And, the importance of showing love. I mean, you don't know what tomorrow brings. Treasure each day like it's the last day. Because I left for school not expecting. My mother was hearty and she was strong and she was on the move. I didn't know that, that would happen. But I thank God that she gave her life to God. And I believe she's in a better place. And when the trumpet sound, I believe that she will ascend. And, I looking forward to that day. Yes.
Wow.
I know she's always watching. Well, I know it's not possible, but that's what I tell myself, that she is watching and she's expecting me to do well. She's expecting me to do well. So as she always said, whatever it is I become in life, Ants will tell her, come and tell her in her grave what I become. Yes, because she had so much, high hopes for me. And I know that I had to live up to those expectations. It has never been easy, but I had to, because I just believed that she was watching me. Despite what, we believe and we read in the Bible, but that was my tower of strength. That's what I held on to from early, that would have kept me going. Despite whatever the challenge is, I knew that I had to do well. I had to become somebody of substance, because my mommy was rooting on that. Whatever she did not get in her young life, I'm sure she would want me to have that. And she had that expectation for my sisters as well. But for me, I held on passionately to those words and positive words that she would always say to me. So that was my cushion, my scaffold. Yes.
And you have not disappointed her.
I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm happy.
Losing the rock, your rock, and your mom's was your rock.
Yes, she was.
And still.
But I found a few mothers along the way. Mrs. Aries, Angela Aries, she lives in Miami. She has always been there with me. And, friends that have always, pushed on me along the way. I heard you mention Price. Yes, they were always there with me from childhood. And, I'm happy. It's very important that you surround yourself with positive people and persons who will want to push, and see that you would have made it through. And Mrs. Aries, trust me, there was nothing too great for her to to give and to help me with. And so a lot of these things, is a reason for my doings, because I've felt how it feels to be given, and to be loved, even though I'm not her biological child, and that's, some of these things, really touched me in a very special way, because you really have genuine people out there. And I hope she's watching.
You're talking about the importance of community, of having good people in your life. And your life is an example of that, and all the people who are there for you. Let's move to career and achievement, something that would really make your mother proud, because that's something that she really wanted for you. You're that person who is always looking for opportunity. And because of that, you would take on various jobs. You'd work in factories, centers, supermarkets, and you was, at some point you was even selling burgers, I understand, while still pursuing your education. What kept you going during these tough, challenging times? What is the one or two things that you can say that kept you going?
Well, I know I had to. As I said, my mother, I know I had to do well, and I know that that's the only door that can lead me out of poverty, out of needing, right? And so I remember during the holidays while in high school, I normally work. Wherever the work was, I was there. And I worked in like garment factory, and I think that traumatized me, somewhat. I held on because, I was being paid. And so it was important for me to just push on. I know it would be over soon, but as long as I get the money to do what I need to do. And just saying that, even going to, after I leave high school, because during high school, during the holidays, I would work. And so even after high school, I would still do my little odd jobs here and there, because it was important for me to earn in order to do what I need to do. And school was very, very important. And so I had to hold on and do what I need to do. I'm always working. I'm my mother's child. So it was nothing for me. And it has given me that, that strength, knowing that, and even for my daughter, she's like that too. Whereas that any opportunity she gets where she can work, she'll do that, right? Because it's very important that we instill certain values in our children. As I said, you don't know what tomorrow brings, and so it's important that they too understand. I remember my son saying, "Mommy, you're supposed to be rich." I said, "Why?" "Yeah, because you work so hard." So I said, "Not yet, baby, not yet. Time. Time." But yes, I had to, Dr. Stevens, I had to, because that's what my way out of hardship.
Yeah, that was your way out. Despite all the financial hardships that you talk about,
Yes.
you attended Sam Sharp Teachers College, and that's where it got started.
Yes.
What was it like going to Teachers College?
Well, when I attending Antrovia, God works in mysterious ways, because sometimes I passed for William Lee. When I did my common entrance, I passed for William Lee Memorial High School in Falmouth. And that was a traditional high school. So when I moved to Montego Bay and I went to Anchovy, persons were saying, why live in a traditional high school for a secondary school? And of course, I was saying, I don't know. Nonetheless, when I went to Anchovy, I met some wonderful teachers, students. The teacher, Mrs. Hudson, she's my mentor. She was, she believed in me so much. There are times when I would do my work, like, my English paper, I would write an essay, and she would send me back to my seat 5 times, 6 times, Suzette, there's more. You have more. I want to see more. You have it in you, you know? And I remember even when we are doing our work, she would take us out, she would take us to the beach. That's Mrs. Hudson. I admire her so much. She teaches at Anchovy High. And so I realized that God wanted me right there, right? They helped me through with my CXC subjects, and even when it was time to sign up for college, I told her that I wanted to be a teacher. From childhood, I've always wanted to be a teacher, teaching the trees and whatever it is I can find. Even my sisters, the eldest one, I was always teaching. So that has always been a passion for me. That is something that I've always wanted to do. And so when I applied to Sam Sharp, they called. I didn't know what to do because, I was now on my own because I was no longer living with my aunt. I came back to Falmouth now. And so I was on my own. My father was there, but he was not, they pushed him, that type of person that pushes you to do things, right? Not like my mother who says, oh, you have to, right? So I knew I had to take my own life in my hands. And so I signed up, I went. And the story is that when I got the acceptance letter, there was something wrong with my name. As you realize, my name is spelled Suzetth, and that's what's on my birth paper. But usually from that time, from way back, I normally spell my name Suzethe. So that was a problem going in. So I had to get a JP to sign to say I'm the same person. So when I reached there, I was late. I was late in admitting to school, and the librarian was there, and she said, we're about to close. And she asked me, do you have your medical? And I said, medical? No, I don't have my, I know I had some money to buy cloth to make my uniform and so on. And she said, do you have, I said, no. So she said, but you need a medical along with whatever documents you have. And I went to Montego Bay. I remember that my father usually worked with this doctor. He lives in Coral Spring. And I remember going there one day. So I remember exactly where he was, and I went. And I asked him if he could do my medical, and then when my father works for him, he could take the money. And he was there laughing because he was saying, who tell you that I have work to give your father? And I was explaining to him that, I really need this because I have to take it back to school and all of that. Anyway, he did it. I went back, and the librarian looked at me and he said, you're a very determined man. You mean business, because I was a few minutes away from them closing. And so I remember buying one skirt material and two blouse material. And she turned to me and she said, where do you live? I said, Falmouth. She said, so how are you planning on coming to school? I said, I don't know. So she said, you didn't sign up for boarding? I said, no. And she, she was questioning me, and she said, all right, tell you what. You are on a mission. You seem like you're determined to be here. So I'm going to allow you to take in the pictures and whatever you need for the boarding, and you come. So that was my first indicator that this is where I'm supposed to be, Sam Sharp. And so made my uniform. Of course, I packed my bag, and I got a drive to take me to school. Unfortunately, when I reached, I did not have any money. But I had my suitcase. And of course, it was new. All the things that were in the suitcase, they were not new. But I was there because I had to be there, right? This was my way out. And so I went up to the principal. I was told to go and speak to the principal, Mrs. Walden. And when I reached to Mrs. Walden and I told her that I know I'm supposed to have part of the tuition, but I don't. So she said, so where are you planning on getting? I said, when I work, I'll, pay. She said, so where do you work? I said, I don't get the job as yet. So she was still laughing, And but I was not laughing. I was as serious as a judge. I was not laughing because my life depended on this very moment here. And so, she said, I'll be watching you. And, in terms of, and she said, when I'll be able to pay. I said, I'm going to try to work something out. I'll see who can help me, but I have to be here. If I did not get through that day, I don't know what would happen to me today, but I know this was my road, to success. And so she allowed me to stay on. Of course, I worked. I looked at my job in Montego Bay. I, work after school sometimes and so on. And I did pay here and there and all of that. With Sam Sharp, they had like 3 meals. They had breakfast, they had lunch, and they had supper. And even sometimes they were serving some big fish. I mean, fish were big. Cafeteria was empty, but Suzette had to be there because that was my meal, right? And so even from church, no, I had Mrs. Aries, I had Mrs. Simpson, who would normally send packages for me with food stuff and all of that to assist me while I was there. And I don't think I did my utmost best, but I've never failed a subject at Sam Sharp, because I was always thinking, where will I get the next money? And, so there was a lot of things going through my mind. I didn't get the chance to, go through like regular children. And we had some children who school fee was paid off, but then they didn't succeed. And I said, Lord, you promised to be there for me. So, I mean, I am expecting you to help me. I spoke to God right through, like he was right there with me, because I'm saying, you took my mother. I mean, yes, that may be the wrong words, but that's how, I move on. And I said, you have to provide for me. And he did. I graduated, thanks be to God. And, my life started in terms of I graduated and I got a job at the Mushet High School in Trelawney. And I started my journey there. I got only 4 months, but I took it. And then I got another 4 because another teacher requested that I stay in her position while she was on leave. Because then I went there and I was doing all sorts of things. I was leading the cheerleaders. I was practicing the netball. I was in JCDC. I was in so many things. The principal didn't even know how to not let me stay because I had so many responsibilities there. It's as if he wanted to create a position for me, right? Because I was always very busy doing all sorts of things. So I stayed there until I left and went to Duncan's College.
So talking about that, right? So I see, yeah, you spent 25 years at Duncan's All Age.
Yes, I did.
Taking on like the leadership roles and championing the literacy program.
Right.
What were some of the most rewarding moments of your teaching career?
My most rewarding experience, of course, are students, getting the students who were not reading. And then at the end of the day, they start reading. They're more assertive. They're more confident because, of course, with the cultural aspect, I was the one who normally, get the students involved and, allowing them to feel like they're winners. I tend to use a lot of motivational strategies to get to my students. Most times when I mark their books, they're always like superstars, awesome, great job, those things. But it was rewarding when at the end of the day, and then parents sometimes they are always saying, Miss Steele, my child is doing well in your class, and they are reading. But the reading part was always because I know without education, they will not go forward. So it's so important for me and where I am coming from that they learn. That's
Right.
always my goal for them to read. And not only read, but read above their grade level. So I have grade 1 students reading at grade 4 or 5 level. Right? Because it was important for me to do well. And if it is they can read, then I'm sure that the sky is the limit. And for me, my class motto is always, man not dead, not call him dopey. All right? So even students that come to you, the light is very dim. Sometimes there's no light, right? And you say, Lord, have mercy. What am I going to do now? Right? So I believe that it's not over until it's over. And normally, again, parents play an integral role, a big role in their students doing well. So at the orientation, I normally say to my parents, we're going to be working together. We're going to be working, and my parents know, they'll tell you that when it is I don't get what I want from them in terms of for their children, then we're off. Miss Steele is going to get mad with them, right? Because it's very important. It's important for me, and I know it's important for them. And again, I say positivity is so important. When you allow a child to feel important, to feel that they can do it, it's so important. I remember one instance where I had this child, and we had a rising star chart in my class. And every time you had to get like 8, 9, or 10 in the spellings to go on the rising star chart. And this little girl, she keeps getting 7, 7, 7. So I said, no, man, what is happening? And so one day she left off at E, and I decided to give her the E. And she went on the rising star. For the first time, she smiled like she couldn't stop smiling. She felt like, she was in the sky, because I gave her. And I just said, let me see what's happening. I didn't cheat for her, but I really wanted to see what was happening with her. And let me tell you something. That day changed her life. She has never gotten less than the amount. She has never gotten less. As a matter of fact, she has never gotten 8. She's always at the 10 or maybe 9.
Wow. I think we froze. Yeah, I think she froze.
Yeah, let me play a video of her in action. She come back on.
Let's take a break.
Giving pins to the students who got 90 to 100% in mathematics. All right? Clap your hands. Put your hands together for yourselves. All right. Let us go. We are ready. For mathematics, we have Ariel Richards with 100%. Ariel, come and be pinned. Where's Ariel? Ariel, please come. Mr. Chance, come for your pin, baby. Give her a big clap. Clap for her hands. Yes. We have Haley Bailey. Come, Haley Bailey. That's right there. Give Haley a big clap. Nice. Remember, if you talk, you will not be getting any pin, We have Tebina Lee. Where's Tebina Lee? When you hear your name, you must come to me, Steele, alright? Tebina Lee. Come to come on, yes. Nice. One right there, Tebina. Nice. Tebina, go over to Miss. We have, with 100% as well, we have Zenira Dawkins. Where's Zenira? She's not here as yet. Zenira missing out, man. All right. With 90%, we have Kayana Nicholson. Where's Kayana Nicholson? Come, Kayana Nicholson. Nice. Give Kayana a big clap, man. 90%. We have Carton Hemmings. Carton Hemmings. Come, Carton. Give Carton a big clap. All right, Carton Hemmings. Very good.
Suzette, we're showing you in action in the classroom. What's going on there? Can you talk to us about, explain to us what was happening in that video? Or we just played? Can you hear us?
Hearing us.
All right, we're going to play another video showing Suzette in action.
I can do all things through Christ who gives me the strength. So I know with him, I can do it, and it's coming on nicely. All right, just keep me in your prayers and hope everything runs smoothly. Right?
Jump onto his big this, tell about it. Sometimes it's hard, but try and you'll make it. Believe you me. In order to achieve, go forth and take.
Almost through, almost.
Set yourself free. With obstacles in your way, you may fall before you rise. But if you really want good, your nose off the run. So get up and keep your eyes on.
All right, so the truck just come in the night to give us a load. All right, so that's it. That's where we're at now, and the men are working. All right.
Remember God now sleep, and although you're a man and you get well off.
The work must go on and it must be finished, you know. Heights by great men reach and kept. We're not a team by sudden flight, but they, while their companions slept, were toiling upwards through the night.
They just kept on winning and winning. So strive. Step up in life and go for what you know. You got to strive. Remove the doubt from out your mind and let good flow.
Start. We're gonna move the inside to see what is happening. Alright, and we have some smart start.
Be not moved by smart remarks from people who think they're with it. Keep moving on, mind gotta be strong and don't indulge in self-pity. But step up and
These are children. Oh, beautiful. Oh, you had everything. Nice girl.
remove the doubt from out your mind and let good flow. With obstacles in your way, you may fall before you rise. But if you really want good, your nose off the run. So get up and keep your eyes on the prize and strive.
Let's get
Wow, a powerful song fitting for the moment.
Yeah.
Fitting for the moment. If you want good, you have to run.
Yeah, your nose have to run.
Hmm.
You know. Try.
Tell us about what we, walk us through what we just watched.
All right, so that's my journey. Building Smart Start Basic School. I started Smart Start Basic School because after I had A1 bookstore. Let me go back. But first, I usually sell my vegetables from my car, and especially for seniors, I normally do delivery to them, which they were very appreciative because they can't leave to go to the market. So that was my job. Doing very well, but it was expanding. I couldn't manage to lift the yam and the carrots. It was hurting my back. So I put that down. I started the A1 bookstore, and I did that for some years. While doing the A1 bookstore, I also had A1 Learning Center, and this was where now I had like adults and high school students who did not do well on their CXC, or for the high school students who are need help with their CXC subjects. So for the A1 Learning Center, I had math teacher, bio teacher, social studies teacher, and I was the English teacher. And so we have that in the evenings. So the building that I was using for the A1 Learning Center was adjoining the A1 bookstore. And after a while, I decided that, hey, I've always wanted to have my own school, and so that's what I did. I started my own school, still doing the evening, and I started my own school with 26 students. So for the first time opening, I had 26 students. And so I did that. Where I'm at now, presently, so there are now 2 locations. The school you're seeing, we newly built that school in 2023. We started July of 2023. And we moved in 2 classes by January 2024. So where we're at now, the landlord needs the building. So we had to move now to get a new location for that. So come September, we'll all be moving to the Rock location. Now the Rock location is where now you were looking at, where we were building. And I must take this opportunity to say thanks to my partner in crime, my partner in everything. He was my childhood friend, and now he's my partner. He's my spouse. I must say thanks to him. He was the one pushing that barrow, and Mr. O'Breeny Robinson. And for most of the building, we did that together. And even after we put on the roof and everything, he was the one who completed the entire building. Still working on it, and we would have worked tirelessly when we. And let me go back a little to that building. When we looked at the land, and I don't know if this young lady is here tonight. Her name is Maxine Campbell. And I remember one day we were standing right next to the land, and a lady drove up. She had a kind of yellow car, and she came up and she said, "Oh, I love this land. The land is nice." And so she was asking me what I'm going to do on the land. I said, "I'm going to build a school." And she said, "Oh, I do like furnitures and stuff furniture for schools. So tell you what, when you build a school, I'm going to suit out 2 classrooms for you." Now we were looking at her, and I looked and I was saying, "Who is this lady? I don't know this lady." So, but the first thing she did, I remember distinctly, the first thing Maxine did was to pray. She said, "Let us pray." And she asked God's blessing on this school. And she asked God, and she talked again, and she talked again, and she prayed again, and she prayed again. And she said, "Lord, anything, let it be done in your name." And, she was there. And I was wondering, is this lady well? Who is this lady? And she was saying, "All right, I'm going to also get some toys for you and some stuff for you." And, she was there. And she said to me also, I am going to, I don't know if they're listening, but she said, "Listen, I'm going to give you my business account and you order your materials using it." And I was like, oh, anyway, sometimes we doubt God's hand in our lives. We doubt God and we find all the negative things to say. We don't believe, right? And sometimes what we say, we don't believe. Because here I believe now that God would have sent this angel right then and there to say, "Listen, this is really what I want you to do." All right. And so I looked at every other hardware, for material. I was looking at 6 million, all sorts of million. And believe you me, when I trusted God and I put everything aside and I said, "Lord, just lead me." And he led me right to the link, the number that the Maxine gave me. And I called. And when I called, I got my material to start for 1 point something. Listen, moving from 6 and 8 to 1. It must be God. It can never be anybody else. And it must be God that would have sent this lady to pray for me 3 times for that very night about everything that I would do. And so it was an indicator that God was with me, and the fact that I would have spoken to him and I've been speaking to him in my life to say, "Listen, I am depending on you to take me out of whatever situation I'm in." He was still there, tested and tried. He has never left my side, and I must say, it's possible with God. And I know sometimes we say it, but I don't think we mean it that much. We don't know what it means to have faith in God. Sometimes we don't even, sometimes when I'm walking through the gates of the school, I'm actually crying. I'm saying, "Lord, is this really my school? That this this is it. Sometimes O'Brien, Mr. Robinson, and I would say we really finished, because looking even back at the video, it doesn't seem like we were going to finish anytime soon. We had one borough, we didn't have any lights. We had one little solar light that we had. We didn't have any lights near, and we were pushing that one barrel right around the building, coming back, pushing one barrel there, and that was us. And we slept in our cars. We cooked on the site. I had to help because I didn't have the money for workmanship, right? And I said, God has placed so many persons, and for those who have said you can do it, I'm proud of you. Those words were engine to me. It allowed me to, it propelled me to move and to do what it is. I am humbled. I don't want to ever, try to feel like I'm better than anybody, because everything that is happening in my life, it's only God, right? And, they say 7 times rise, 7 times fall. So, for me, giving and God providing, and He provides it through people, I am blessed and I'm honored. And honestly, despite everything, we would have finished the school. We now have 10 classrooms. We have a daycare that is not yet tiled and 2 other bathrooms. We now occupy 4 classrooms in Rock, where you see, and we have 4 in Falmouth. So come September, all those classes will be going, and everyday persons are calling to say, do you have space? I believe in excellence. I'm a visionary, and I'm a transformational leader. I believe in transformation, and I believe in excellence. I have some great teachers, with me. I'm not doing it all by myself. I have some great people with me, and my parents, they're awesome. I know some of them are with me tonight. But that is testament that there is a God, and He can move mountain if we only believe. So despite our circumstance, wherever we start, it's not how we start, but it's how we end. And how much we trust God and believe in Him. How we, treat children, because I have parents. She has a hardware in Falmouth, and when I met her the January when I opened, she said, Miss Steele, I see what you're doing. If you need material, take what you need and pay me little by little. That must be God. Dr. Stephenson, that must be God. It is possible. It is possible with Him.
It is God.
Yes, it is.
Let me acknowledge a couple more folks. We have all the way from Ghana, from Africa. We have Jacob. Welcome, Jacob. And we have, who else is new in here? We have Dinah, Iman Sewell, and Blissett Beckford. And Ann Blissett said, it must be God. So
Yes,
it must be. Yes, we're running short on time, and we have a few more questions we want to ask you. Donna, do you want to go with it, please?
Yeah, sure. So I wanted to ask you, because I know, first I must commend you on all the work that you're doing and you've accomplished. No doubt your parents would be very proud of you. Your mom would be very proud of you. So you've definitely the course, and you're I'm quite sure you've probably excelled her expectations with everything that you're doing. But I wanted to ask you, right? You still, even though you're doing so much and you've accomplished so much, you still ended up having a personal loss with both your sisters, one in 2013 and one in 2014. Which I'm quite sure, once again, going through something like this must have been very painful. Yeah. How did you find the strength to keep going despite this profound loss again that happened for you?
Well, by then I had my daughter Shalise, and I was pregnant at the time with my son, Andres, at the time. I also just started the E1 bookstore at the time. My sister, who she was always there for me. Even when I was pregnant, she was the one who did most of the cooking. You know, she was my friend, you know, very close. And when she died, you know, I questioned God again. You know, I said, why? You know, what is happening? You know, why am I losing, you know, everybody around me? Mommy, you know, my sister, when my mommy died, she was 32, very young. And my sister was 36. And so, you know, I questioned God and I cried. But I realized that I had to, and then there were persons around me that, you know, was saying, remember, you're pregnant with your son and you have to stay strong. And, you know, and of course, you know, it was a sad, very sad moment. I couldn't answer the question I was asking and I wasn't getting any answer really. But I know God knows best. I don't know why. Then my youngest sister died. It was rough. You know, many questions, but the community is so very important. I had the community. I knew I had to be strong for my children and also my sister's children. And, you know, there was a lot going on, a lot going on in my life. But I held on to God's unchanging hand. And some things I know are inevitable. So, you know, we just need to, and we're not going to know why. We don't have the answers. And so we just have to allow God to lead. But I know it was a really rough time for me. I was very stressed. You know, I was very stressed. Sometimes when my son give me a little headache, I was wondering if those stress, you know, because he was just right in the middle of it all. He was right in the middle. But thank God, you know, I made it through, and you know, I knew I had to be strong for my children because I had my daughter and my son, you know, to continue to live. I always pray though and ask God, if I'm going to go as well, you know, just allow my daughter at least to pass the worst, you know. She's now at Northern Caribbean University. She's now 20. So I mean, I'm happy and I'm here to see her through, right? But the journey was a rough one. It was a terrible journey. And I know they had high expectations because of my three sisters. I was the only one that went to, you know, college and university. So, you know, I was their shining light. They were my shining light too, because my eldest sister, she was really a very good hairdresser. So I was always looking so beautiful all the time. She always do my hair nicely. So, you know, but it's sad though that I probably did not get the chance to say all that I wanted to say to her because I didn't know she was going to die, you know, like within half an hour of them calling to say she wasn't well. She worked the night before doing hair and she went home and about 12 o'clock in the day. And I was just about to call her to ask her, how else can I do the fish? Because I didn't want the same kind of way that I was doing it. And my aunt called to say that she wasn't well. Rushed there, took her to the doctor, and that was it within half an hour. So I didn't get to say goodbye to my mom. I didn't get a chance to say goodbye to my eldest sister. I did get a chance to talk with my youngest sister. Didn't know that she would pass, but she was sick for a while and then she passed. So I got the chance to be there with her. And so that was a plus for me in terms of being there and taking care of her. For the other two, that was, you know, the case. It's rough. The road is rough and the going gets tough. Right? But I'm hanging on in there.
And the tough keeps going, and you are the tough one. Real quick, Suzette, you are the author of I Am a Smart Reader.
Yes.
I know we don't have a lot of time to talk about the book, but tell our listeners, our audience, how they can get your book.
Well, okay, so this is a copy of the book. I Am a Smart Reader. It is a reader and activity book. It was designed for the babies because at Smart Start Basic School, we have year 2 to 5 years. And as I said, I'm very passionate about teaching and learning, very passionate about education. And so I wrote this book for these babies. What happened is that it's a simple book. it's repetitive, it's colorful, and if a child learns a word on the first page, then the child turns and go on the second page. That's that same word, but other words. And as you progress in the book, it gets harder. So it's really a reading and a activity book. That's all my students at Smart Start. They have a copy and they read. And most of my students, especially the 5-year-olds, they are able to read. And moving on to the primary school, we always get good ratings in terms of the students are doing exceptionally well. And I must thank God for that. I also introduce it at Duncan's to the grade 1s. And also I use it in my after classes as well for students from different schools that would come to me for extra classes, because I do have extra lessons in the evenings. Every evening I have extra lessons with different students from Hague, Falmouth All Age, different schools that with children who have reading disability, not reading disability, but they have reading challenge, right? So, and I realized that this book, whenever they start reading, they feel a level of confidence because they're saying, no, I can read, even though it's simple. And that's what I want. I want them to know that, hey, I can read. So if I can read this book, I can read any book. Because as they say, reading maketh a what? Full man, right? So it's very important. I have other books coming out. But for this one, I did not put that in the bookstore or anything, because for me it was a little personal in terms of for the school. But I am going wider now, and I'm also looking at other books that soon, Amazon, and I also will be publishing shortly, so other parents can look. But I've sold a number of copies over the years since I've done this book, and not only to my school but to other schools that have marketed. I've heard persons calling to order because they would have heard, other parents talking about the book and that they would want the book to buy. So, I mean, in future, I plan to really, get it out there in full number along with the other books that I'm working on. I'm also working on a book, There's Magic in Motivation, that I hope that will help the parents to help their children, because sometimes we're saying they're having a problem. They don't have any problem. The problem is that they don't believe in themselves. And once you break that barrier down, the sky's the limit, right? They're untouchable. So I believe in my students. I believe that, all things are possible. And that's me.
Thank you for that. So the book is not really for sale. However, you plan to get it out.
Yes, I plan to get it out.
Such a book, it would be nice if other schools from across the world could get access to it. And that's why I asked that question. Donna, one last question, and then we'll go to closing, because time is we're over time.
Yes.
Sure. What's one hidden talent that you have that no one knows about?
I don't think I have any hidden talent. I think hidden. I don't know. Or maybe I can cook. Yes. My children knows it, but I don't think a lot of person knows that I cook very well. Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
All right. Suzetth, this is an opportunity for you to give a closing argument and say whatever else you want to add, and the opportunity to do so.
All right. I just want to say a big thank you for this opportunity again, Dr. Thompson and Dr. Stephenson. I want to thank my children for always being there. They're always, have always been my cheerleader. I know I've been their cheerleader, but they're always cheering me, especially my daughter. She's always, right there with me. And I just want to say to persons who feel sometimes that, it cannot be done. Again, our mindset is what is so important to achieving your goals and your dreams. So a positive mindset is what you need. And the only thing you need to do is just step out. Make that first step and just allow God to do the rest. And, you know, we have a saying, God fall rain on the just and the unjust. So if you feel like, hey, I'm a Christian, I believe in God, I believe that God can take you through any stormy weather, right? I'm not rich and I don't want to be rich. I just want to be comfortable, right? I trust God. I believe in him. And he would have shown me, would have blessed me with so many inspiring persons around me. And that's another thing. Surround yourself with positivity. Surround yourself with people who are positive, the negative. So if I'm building that school and somebody says, Suzetth, that doesn't seem like it's reachable, leave it. What would happen today? I would not have that school, right? So we ought to be positive. And I really want to thank those persons. I don't want to start calling names, but I want to say thanks to Duncan's all age. I have a family there. They, you know, whenever something happens, I know that my teachers, they're always there. And they have been there for many years. So they know me when I was young and now. So community is also so very important. It's important that we help each other. It's important that we help. And when we help, don't look back for help. God will send other help, other places. Because yes, I would have reached out. I've been doing outreach for years, painting houses, doing things. And yes, there were persons who reached out to me when I needed, not the person, because persons that reach out, for example, Maxine, she was all the way from Kingston at the time. So that's how far, you know, God sent her from to me, you know. So, I mean, let us just trust God. And I want to say, you know, thanks to all the persons, my mommy, Mrs. Aries, my family, church family, my school family, all my friends would have said, listen, you can do it. I'm proud of you. And they would have given me that energy to move and to do my best. I want to thank God. I want to thank God so much publicly because, you know, I speak to him daily. Yes, I want to thank God for always being there for me. And I pray that he will continue to be there for me. It is possible. It is possible. With God, all things are possible. Just believe in yourself, believe in your children, and trust me, it will be possible. Even when the lights seem dim, there's still hope. There's still hope.
Still hope. With God, all things are possible. Just Dr. McCook, thanks for joining. Mrs. Hibbert, thanks for joining. Caricia, thanks for joining. Wow. Wow. As we wrap up this powerful episode of In the Spotlight, you know, we are left with one undeniable truth. Suzetth Steele is the embodiment of resilience, faith, and purpose. Her story is not just about overcoming hardships, but about turning trials into stepping stones, pain into purpose, and loss into a legacy of impact. From her humble beginnings in Falmouth Trelawney to the heights of academic and professional excellence, Suzetth's journey is a testament to the power of perseverance and the unwavering belief that education can change lives. Through her work as an educator, mentor, and community leader, she has touched the lives of countless students, proving that circumstances do not define destiny, determination does. Even in the face of tragedy, she never gave up. Instead, she turned her challenges into motivation to build, uplift, and inspire. Suzetth Steele is more than a teacher. She's a pillar of hope, a trailblazer, and a woman who refuses to let adversity dim her light. Her commitment to empowering others through both education and community service ensures her legacy will live on for generations. I know you've made your mother proud.
Thank
Now,
you.
we need to let her story be a reminder to us all. No matter where you start, no matter what obstacles you faced, with faith, perseverance, and the courage to keep moving forward, success is inevitable.
Yes.
Suzetth, I want to say thank you for sharing your journey with us tonight.
Thank you, Suzetth.
To our viewers for tuning in to another inspiring episode of In the Spotlight. Donna, I turn it over to you.
Alrighty, so I'd like to say thank you to all our viewers out there who have spent their Thursday evening with us. We appreciate you. We do not take your time for granted. We hope that our guest sharing her story has inspired you this evening. And if you're at a place where you're struggling a little bit as to what to do with your life or the next page to turn in your book, hopefully her story of perseverance and being resilient will inspire you to go ahead and turn that page and take action and move forward, right? And always have faith and just move from being stuck to unstuck. Suzetth, oh my gosh, we would love to have you back again because I know there's so much that we would still speak to you about, and we just kind of ran out of time. But what you're doing is so important and so impactful that we definitely need to be back on the show again. So we do extend that invite. And
Thank you.
To tell our viewers, if you have not purchased your tickets for A Collision with Purpose, the colloquium on February 22nd at Shiloh High School, go ahead and get your tickets today. They're only $60. And you will definitely not regret making that purchase. Actually, I think that event is worth so much more than $60.
Let's raise the price right now.
I'm telling you, like, what you're going to experience there, the value is so much more than that financial number that you're going to be investing in yourself. So go ahead and purchase your ticket and make sure you have a seat in that theater. The tickets are going fast, to be honest with you, and the seats are limited in the theater. So you don't want to miss this year's event. And I'm going to ask you, today is Thursday. I know tomorrow is that great Valentine's Day, but even so, I would like for you to go out there and do one act of kindness to a stranger, not your friend, not your family, just a stranger, any stranger at all. Hey, give them a rose, give them some chocolate. It's Valentine's Day, right?
Yeah.
So with that, a wonderful remainder of your evening and have a wonderful and safe weekend. We're out.
Thank you.
Greetings from Jamaica. This is Sheila Topstar. Tonight I will be performing one of my latest single entitled Far. Yeah. Now, this song is a reflection of my life. However, I believe that this song can also be a reflection of your life. Enjoy. Far me I come from, I me know where me I go. Far me I come from, I me know where me I go. Me see the aim, me a navigate to success. Working smart, no rest. Me a see the progress. Want to achieve, so me give it my best. Me a do my thing now, watch no one else. Some of them a stay up there, they were my friends. Smile with me, but I meet them against them. Want to set up my life and my journey end. Know me I am far, born as a winner, me no know about failure. Have to make it big, have to make it major. Stacking the currency paper. Far me I come from.